Good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time zone you're in. Welcome to the Bold Group Sedona Office Partner Webinar with OPT Business Services. My name is Tori Martinez. I am the event manager for Bold Group. I know I've met a lot of you at the Sedona Office Users Conference, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to join us. We have a great presentation planned for you today, so let's go ahead and get started. We want to make sure that we get going on time here. We are going to wait just a minute or so to make sure everyone gets a chance to get in on time. But we do have some housekeeping that we want to get you in on. So we'll give everyone a chance to get in. We want to let you know that this webinar is in lecture format, so everyone will be muted for the session. The webinar tools are available in the window on the right-hand side of your screen. So if you want to collapse the screen to get it out of the way, you can just use this arrow to slide it right out of view. If you have questions for this webinar, all you do is enter them in the question section of the tools window. We'll have a question and answer session toward the end of the webinar where we can get those questions answered. And if we do have any questions unanswered, they will be addressed after the webinar. So we'll make sure to get those answered for you. A couple of things we want to let you know about. There is a big boot camp coming up later on this next month, actually, in August. It's an incredible learning opportunity. It's taught by our financial consultant, Bob Ascara. Many of you know who that is. It's covering all aspects of the general ledger portion of Sedona Office. And if you haven't gotten a chance to take this webinar, you really want to check it out. It is absolutely amazing. It's going to be held as a live virtual class, so kind of like a college online class. And right now, we are offering early bird pricing, so only $9.95. And that's going on until Tuesday, August 4th. So you want to get in on that, get that great pricing. And as with all BoldU online classes, if you are a BoldU Level 4 subscriber, tuition is complimentary. So get in on that. If you want to find out more about this class, just go to learn.boldgroup.com and log into your account, and all the information will be there. You can find out more about the Sedona Office GL Bootcamp. So I hope you can join us for that. This session is being recorded, and you can expect that it will be delivered to your email within the next day or so you can share it with anyone who has missed out today, or listen into anything you want to hear again, because there is some great information within this presentation that you will not want to miss. And finally, this morning, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Brad Swindell. Brad has over 15 years in experience in the alarm industry. He started as a central station operator and then was promoted to general manager or to manager within a short time. Brad moved to the IT side of the business in 2007, which gave him the opportunity to become an expert in the software development area. He is co-founder of OPT Business Services, and we are absolutely thrilled to have him here today. So I want to thank you for joining us, Brad, and I'm going to make you the presentation now, and the floor is yours.
Excellent. Hey, everyone. Okay, let's make sure I get the right screen here. Bear with me. There we go. All right. First, we'd like to start off by saying thank you for the folks over at Bold Group for hosting today's webinar, and for everyone spending your time with us this afternoon. Today, we're going to talk about CX. This is the latest acronym that stands for Customer's Experience with your company. My name is Brad. I'm one of the co-founders, as Tori said, of OPT Business Services. OPT has been providing companies with tools they need to improve and manage their customer experience since 2013. During this time, we've learned some valuable information over the years that we'd like to share with you guys today. Our presentation today will be separated into two parts. First, we're going to discuss the topic of CX and its overall importance, and then we'll dive into some OPT products and services that allow your company to provide exceptional customer experiences. So let's first start off with, well, what is CX? CX, or customer experience, is the sum total of the customer's perceptions and feelings resulting from the interactions with a brand's products and services. CX spans the lifetime of customers' relationships with the brand, starting from before the purchase is made, continuing through active use, and eventually advancing to renewal or repeat purchases, and even brand advocacy. CX encompasses all the touch points that a customer has with a brand. Examples of touch points include researching your company and invoking the sales process, to making a purchase, installation, training, and even utilizing the products and services, speaking to customer service, having the system repaired, and eventually upgrading. Customers will feel emotions and have feelings at every touch point, which can cause them to form judgments, and these feelings can range from anything from joy to empathy to disappointment. Judgments can range from positive, such as viewing the company as helpful when a customer is efficiently assisted, to negative and seeing the company as incompetent when dealing with slow and frustrating customer service. These emotions and judgments can vary wildly from one touch point to the next. So why should we care? Brands must produce a great customer experience that meets or needs a customer's expectations. Brands that provide poor customer experience will not likely survive. Providing excellent customer experience results in satisfied and loyal customers who are less likely to attrit and more likely to renew and upgrade. These customers may also become brand ambassadors or advocates, recommending a brand's products and services to friends, associates, and colleagues. Many brands use customer experience as a competitive edge, taking market share by providing a superior customer experience as compared to their competitors. At OPT, we like to call these customers raving fans. Happy, loyal customers are also great for business. They help you grow revenue. Happy and loyal customers tend to stick around longer, so they end up spending more with the companies they love. They're more inclined to consider upgrade offers from beloved companies for other products and services, which helps also boost revenue. And of course, when you have a raving fan for a company, they refer people to the firm, driving up revenue and further new business with new customers. They also help you control expenses. Thanks to great word of mouth, beloved companies don't have to spend as much on marketing and advertising to acquire new customers. Happy and loyal customers also tend to complain less, which reduces the stress on the company's operating infrastructure, further controlling expenses. Happy and loyal and lifelong customers generally cost less to serve overall, and because they're familiar with the companies that they love, they don't require as much hand-holding as would an entirely new customer. So they help you become more profitable. These customers help increase revenue while controlling expense, which translates into better profitability overall. Independent studies performed by CX industry experts have shown that customer experience has a huge impact on how well you're likely to perform and be successful. 49% of people surveyed said that they would switch away from companies that didn't meet their service expectations. CX also has become the key differentiator that respondents are evaluating when making decisions, with 86% of them indicating that they will pay more for a better customer experience. Along with the 3-to-1 return on investment ratio, investing in customer service and experience is not only critical for your company, it's also profitable and good business. I'm sure at this point we can all agree that providing exceptional customer experiences is something we all should strive for. However, it doesn't just happen overnight or by chance. We need to develop an ever-evolving strategy to help us manage our ongoing customer experience. This starts with looking at the complete view of your current strategy and the customers that you currently serve. So CX strategy, as it's known today, has 4 critical components. First, we start by understanding our customers that you serve, or this is called your customer analysis, and which products and services that are being sold to them, or your target audience. This should be the easiest part. For instance, our company specializes in this product or service for this target market. However, many of you have multiple products and services targeted for a diverse audience. While many of these best practices are going to be the same for each audience, you should try to create an individual CX strategy for each type of customer, as there are nuances to each target audience that you should identify and adjust for. Next, we want to create what you consider to be your customer vision, or how you want your target customer to experience your brand from start to finish. And this has several concepts we'll discuss. The customer's journey tells a story of how the customer came to be, or not, and their ongoing experience with you and how you are perceived as a brand to them. The customer's life cycle focuses on details of how your customer is expected to flow from point A to point B throughout the organization. Then we explore your customer service, how your customer service teams are to address customers that are not having the best customer experience. Customer service is the front line of your company, and how your interactions go here will have the greatest impact on your customer's overall experience. To separate a good company from a great one, you'll need to deliver engaging and personalized experiences to your customer. Take the time to understand who your customers are and what motivates them, and then provide customized approaches to each situation. Use what we've learned by creating the customer vision and apply it to your interactions with the customer. Saying thank you goes a long way, and keeping the customer informed and educated tells the customer you value their time and business. Proactively identify situations where you can reach out and provide additional touch points, such as regular check-ins to see how they're doing. Finally, be prepared to listen to the voice of the customer and what it's trying to tell you. In today's day and age, the customers have dozens of outlets to voice their experience with your brand. Home in on this by providing access to these outlets in a structured way that can benefit your company, regardless of the nature of the feedback. Sending a customer satisfaction survey analyzing the customer interactions while driving users to social media for reviews and collecting testimonials will provide the elements needed to build a picture of how your customers are experiencing your brand. To improve your CX, you must first measure it, as well as customer loyalty metrics such as Net Promoter Score and other things, along with the data collected from other outlets. This will provide you with the knowledge you need to drive change and measure the effectiveness of your CX strategy. OPT provides the tools to deliver specific, customized, tailored customer experiences using our diverse product offering. Fully integrated tools like our automated notifications, surveys, key account management, customers at risk, and more allow you to provide these exceptional experiences with minimal effort and maximum effect. After all, why not automatically send a thank you note to your customer's email address and even in the mail after a purchase? So let's take a look at how we map a customer's journey. The goal here is to create an understanding of what the customer's current perception is of your brand and what factors influence their judgments. Once you've defined who your customer is, you can evaluate each stage of their journey. This map will set the groundwork for helping you evaluate how changes in your CX strategy will affect your customer's experience and predict your customer's next move. During the awareness stage, your goal is to make your customers aware of your brand and what their initial perception should be. You'll outline how you'll reach out to the customer and what their call to action should be. Be sure to pay attention to the emotional state of the customer at each stage. When the customer wants to learn more about your offering, they move to the consideration stage. Here we should outline how your customer interacts with your company to get more information. Once the decision is made to purchase your services or convert, then you'll want to evaluate the onboarding experience along with the delivery of the services to the customer. During the life of the customer, they will be in the service stage. As mentioned before, your interactions here will form the basis of the customer's ongoing perception with your brand. You'll want to detail the day-to-day interactions with the customer. Finally, customers show their loyalty when they're renewing, purchasing additional services, or sharing their experiences. Evaluate these processes and what are the motivating factors behind their decisions. You'll want to identify experiences that the customers are having with your different business processes at each stage, as well as who within your organization contributes to those experiences. Set business goals and identify the tools you need to improve the customer's experience throughout their journey. And you'll want to evaluate the customer map and the customer journey periodically from time to time as well to look for room for improvement. So after we successfully understand your current CX, now we can identify where there's room to grow and exceed, and even on your own previous expectations. Start by looking at your customer's vision and the voice of the customer to help identify any process or workflow or interaction that doesn't meet the standards you're looking to set. Next, identify and analyze the customer's touch points, and where will be improved by total change or process procedure. Even a slight adjustment, especially like automation, can make a big impact. Then let OPT provide you with the tools to automate and manage critical components of your CX. Opportunities for touchpoint automation through your customer's life cycle are endless. OPT offers dozens of automated and customized interactions that provides a consistent and reliable experience for your customer. For every stage of the life cycle, there's something that can be benefited from touchpoint automation. Starting with sales, we have all different types of notifications. OPT provides the tools to set a great first impression. Show your potential customer that you want their business and you value their time. Once the customer is converted, make sure you start their journey off right with your company on solid ground by setting proper expectations and providing transparency in your process. Providing user-friendly billing, payment options, and other experiences that the customers have come to expect in today's fast-moving times, while decreasing your expenses significantly by automating these routine tasks. We can also generate additional revenue opportunities while providing additional value to the customer by looking at internal processes that can show that the customer may be entitled to an upgrade or something else that could potentially generate some additional revenue. Remind customers that we're here to serve and support them by providing real-time updates regardless of their support tickets. Retaining a customer is much more effective than acquiring a new one. React to customer issues quickly and try to predict future issues before they happen. Finally, leverage the loyalty that we built with your customers to generate new business and help improve CX overall. So let's take a look at a sample letter that we could set up here. This is a welcome letter that we've set up with a client when they have booked a new job in Sedona Office. Static notifications can be sent at any point within the job's cycle. Most popular use of this is a job task sign-off, where we look for a specific job task to be within a job and signed off. Once we see that, we can then fire off the notification. I would suggest also including personalized details within the notification about your policies and procedures, including access to like self-service resources such as user manuals, frequently asked questions, or other documents. It also gives you an opportunity to mention to your customers other products and services that you have to offer. And finally, we can attach generated documents such as insurance certificates or other documents within Sedona Office as well. Another common thing to do is to remind the customer that they have an appointment coming up. Now, appointments can be created throughout Sedona Office in various different areas, so we can look at all types of notifications. We can deliver them up to 3 days in advance, look at sales appointments, job, inspection, service tickets, and even allow the customer to cancel or confirm the appointment right from within the notification. This is also integrated in OPT's timeline module for real-time updates, and we'll talk a little bit about that in a bit. The dispatch notification can be also sent when an appointment has a dispatch time, either through the FSU or through Sedona Office. And this supports both the jobs, inspections, and service tickets. A great personalization piece here is to include the technician's photo and a biography about them that's dynamically associated to the notification. And again, this also is integrated with our OPT timeline module. Invoicing is a key component of your business. Obviously, we need to generate invoices to generate revenue, but electronic delivery of those invoices helps decrease the cost to doing that, while also providing opportunities for marketing, including additional information, making the process much easier for the customer, as well as also collecting on those invoices much quicker. We support all the standard Sedona Office templates, and we are also constantly creating custom formats for our users. We can include things like dynamic branding, where we change out logos based on branches or add components into the invoice based on things that we see. We have sales opportunities to include additional marketing pieces, or custom inserts like this company has done here to include information about their online payment portal. This company has also created a really interesting notification to put inside the invoice when a specific charge shows up. They have a description that explains what the charge was and how to avoid the false alarm charge for the future. Automated collections is another way we can support the accounting department by sending out a collection reminder when the account goes past due. We support all the standard formats, and of course the custom formats are flexible, dynamic support for branding. But one of the cool things we do here is we switch out the message that goes to the customer based on how delinquent they are. So the message can scale from a friendly reminder up to a cancellation notice if necessary. With the integration with web services, the customer can then drill in from their invoice document, from their collections or PDF document, all the way through to the invoices. So it provides them a real self-service ability to investigate what the charges are within the statement, hopefully avoiding a phone call to your accounting department. And no login or user accounts necessary to do any of this. They can pay online with Sedona Web. Okay. Now, as we mentioned before, we have a module called our timeline module. The timeline module is a revolutionary way to show your customers everything that's going on with them with their particular account. When an inspection ticket or service ticket or a job or a work order gets created, the customer is notified, and every notification from that point forward includes a link to a virtual timeline. It's all of the information regarding that particular work order is viewable within a single view. They can get access to ticket details, notes, resolutions. They can see appointments and they can confirm or cancel those appointments. They can view documents such as the PDFs, images, inspection forms, signed ticket reports, etc., as well as view their invoices and go out to Sedona Web to pay them. We can take surveys and implement that directly within the timeline, or fill out a questionnaire or web forms that you're trying to collect information from. Okay. Finally, the customer can interact with you through a chat box, which will send a notification back to your service or installation department and document the ticket or job accordingly. One really customized way to provide exceptional service is through a product called our Key Account Management. Our Key Account system allows us to create a VIP customer experience by creating a specific tailored approach to their notification process. We first create a group of customers and attach all of the customers that we have in our Sedona office to a single group. Then we set up the contacts within that group, whether they're an internal contact or external, and we can customize the notifications and the associations to the different locations for that contact. So for example, if I have customer A and this contact wants to be notified on his home and his business, we can create one group and associate both locations to it and have his contact be notified on everything. It also provides us a place to do in-depth analysis across accounts. So instead of just looking at a single account in Sedona office, we can bundle these accounts together and do a key account wide analysis of that account. And we have dozens of touch points available for the key account users, including some great summary reports that we can send out to a specific user. These reports would then show the customer what you are doing for them for this particular group. As we talked about, we have in-depth analysis on the key account dashboard. Here we can look at the difference of service and inspection tickets, what's open, and the time it takes us to close those tickets, invoicing statistics, aging history across multiple customers, as well as looking at our NPS and our survey statistics for every customer within the group. And we have more coming soon on the key account page as well. Key account notifications, as I mentioned, we have all different types of touch points, including a summary report such as this that indicates to the customer we've serviced 3 tickets and a job for them, and this is where we're currently at. These notifications are infinitely customizable, and we can create any kind of flexibility there that you need. So once we kind of have this process of doing the automatic notifications and improving that side of the experience, we really start needing to measure how we're performing and how the customers are perceiving us. NPS, or Net Promoter Score, is a great way to do this. Net Promoter Score is an index that ranges from -100 to 100 that measures the willingness of a customer to recommend a company's product or services to others. We use it as a proxy to gauge the customer's overall satisfaction with the company and the loyalty to their brand. So NPS has been around for some time, but it's, we have 2 types of survey that are traditionally out there. We have your NPS survey, and then we also have your standard customer satisfaction survey, or CSAT survey. NPS has some significant advantages over the traditional method. NPS is simple and efficient, which also makes it much more likely for the customers to engage and respond to the request. Customers are fairly honest with their responses, unlike traditional methods, because we're not baiting them with standard questions. We put more focus on the overall customer experience instead of just one particular interaction. And this makes it a better indicator for long-term happiness. The NPS metric also helps you identify and improve brand loyalty. And finally, when we benchmark and analyze what makes up the scores, it'll help us predict for future growth. So you've likely seen an NPS or taken one in your lifetime, but the NPS is the question of how likely are we to recommend a friend or colleague. Customers surveyed on this single question are given an 11-point scale to recommend the company. On that scale of 0 to 10, how likely are you to recommend? Then we're typically following this up with an open-ended question that requests additional feedback, such as, what was the primary reason for your score? Based on their ratings, the customers are then classified into 3 categories: detractors, passives, and promoters. Detractors given a score lower or equal to 6. They're not particularly thrilled by your product or service, and with all likelihood, they won't purchase again from the company if given the opportunity. This could potentially damage the company's reputation through negative word of mouth as well. Passives give a score of 7 or 8. They're somewhat satisfied, but they could easily switch out to a competitor's offering if given the opportunity. They probably won't spread any negative word of mouth, but they're not really enthusiastic about your products, and they probably won't promote them either. Promoters, on the other hand, are score from 9 to 10. They love the company's products and services. They're likely repeat buyers and enthusiastic evangelists who would recommend the companies and products to other potential buyers at any turn. So Net Promoter Score is determined by subtracting the percentage of the customers who are detractors from the percentage that are promoters. So the score is generated between negative 100 and 100. And at one end of the spectrum, if all the customers gave us a lower score of 6, that would lead to our NPS of negative 100. On the other end, if all the customers answered 9 or 10, then our total score would be 100. Your company should strive to build experiences that create promoters. With OPT, you can understand these experiences by creating promoters and passives and detractors, and then driving your company to act. Dig into why behind the score. Prioritize investment and distribute actionable data across the organization to drive engagement and improvement. Understanding NPS is a great start point to learn more about the health of your business. You can kick off programs and make changes that create more advocates for your business and services by ultimately delivering revenue that you can rely on. OPT has helped companies improve their NPS by building fundamental systems and practices that focus on the customer's experience. A traditional survey would look something similar to this, where we thank the customer for our recent interactions, so giving us the opportunity to serve them. And then we produce the question directly within the email. Okay. When they click on one of the answers, it will take them to the form, pre-populate all of the necessary information, and just let them answer that additional feedback question. We make it very simple for them to submit the form, so they're less likely to just bomb out and go somewhere else and just ignore it. Once we have that data submitted, it actually comes back to our dashboards where we can analyze that information. Okay? So we can grab back and look at the number of detractors versus promoters in NPS over time, so we can see how we're performing. We can look at the distribution of scores, and we can even break it down into segmental analysis, where we look at the scores between branches, employees, and things like that, even going down to the technicians. The tools automatically send out the surveys on the closing of a service ticket or hitting a job milestone, okay, or simply on a schedule when it makes sense. And that in-depth analysis lets us look at key segmentation to give us that useful information that we can drive change on. So we have an NPS score, but what does that really mean? What is it, a good number? Is it a bad number? How do we improve upon that number? Well, first we talked about benchmarking. We need to kind of create a benchmark and understand where we sit. Okay, so this process is called benchmarking. It's where we compare your score to the industry at large. But it's important to know that not every industry has their own benchmark to hit. Okay, companies within their respective industry will contain scores that will put them on either side of the benchmark, which can give you some idea where you stand. Unfortunately, to date, we haven't found a security industry benchmark yet that's been modeled by any independent research firms. So we decided to make one ourselves. Based on the companies that we provide the survey forms for, we're able to look at last year's NPS and realize we're in about 80%. Now, our customers float anywhere between 53 all the way up to companies who are just starting out and they maybe got 1 or 2 scores. Okay, they could be dropped off the list, but we've been providing these NPS surveys for years for our clients. The market research now that we're doing indicates that our security industry is trending up a bit every year, where we're currently at 80, which is up from 79 in 2019 and 78 in 2018. But the number is a bit irrelevant. What's more important about it is where we sit, our particular company sits in comparison to others. Your position or your relevance in this particular scale ultimately determines how you're performing. If your company starts off with a 75, and you can move up to an 80, that shows that you have room for improvement itself. So benchmarking not only against my industry number, but also your own number as well is important. Measuring your own improvement over time, and that's what the dashboards will allow you to do. We've also made a big push to also include social media into our process as well. We are now supporting Google reviews and other social media platforms to allow the customer to also engage with your social presence as well as performing the Net Promoter Score. After they fill out a survey, we can take them to your Google review site and they can post their review right there as well. We can leverage that loyalty we have with the customers to request those reviews, and then that will help steer additional customers towards your brand as well. If we are doing the Google review process, we also encourage that you maintain these reviews and look for insights within the data that can help you improve your CX. Address any concerns that that a customer may have right away, and be sure to thank them for any reviews that they do post. OPT survey products and offering will provide the critical insights that's needed to both measure the effectiveness of your current CX and what can be done to improve it. Surveys and reviews are an important part of the voice of the customer, so make sure we're listening. So next I want to talk a little bit about CRM, or the customer relationship management. It's both a strategy and a technology. We've probably heard CRM used as a proxy for a product, but it's also a strategy. The CRM strategy is the business's philosophy about how the relationships and the customers and potential customers should be managed, whereas CRM as a technology provides the means to effectively execute your customer vision. OPT's CRM offering includes both the communication products as well as the web tools to help you and allow you to manage these relationships with your customers. Having both good CRM and as a strategy and having good CRM products is critical for your business's CX. Okay. CRM improves customer experience and satisfaction by allowing you to provide personalized interactions. It also builds long-lasting customer relationships and improves retention by providing consistent experiences that the customers can rely on. We automate routine processes such as customer communications for maximum productivity. It also provides increased revenue opportunities by building brand awareness and providing targeted marketing to our customer data. Reducing the operating expenses that are due to costs to manually tracking customer data, researching customer issues, and routine communications is also a great feature of CRM software as well. So for a successful deployment of CRM product, you'll want to make sure it's fully integrated with your business data systems. At OPT, we started with Sedona Office data and we worked our way out from there. Coupled with our business partnership with the Bold Group, we provide our customers with a completely integrated solutions that work out of the box while still being fully customizable to your unique business's needs and leverages the data and systems that you currently have in place. With our years of experience in the security industry, we're also uniquely qualified to provide solutions that provide an unmatched customer experience while being optimized for our industry. So a couple key important parts, again, to recap on customer service, we want to respond as quickly as possible to any kind of customer complaint or customer issue. We also need to be able to have software that helps us identify what's going on with our customers. We want to see things like profitability and issue tracking and things like that. Be sure, if we do find an issue, having transparency with the customer and being able to address it quickly is also very important. And if anywhere we can go the extra mile and take an extra step to make the customer a fan, it's always worth it in the end. So we want to think about the long-term life of the customer and how we can provide a better experience with them. And customer service is a key important part of that. So one of the things we've done at OPT is we've created a module called our Customers at Risk, or CARS. And there's another module called our Task Management. This allows us to create cases and tasks that we can manage every customer's problem and requirement from the beginning to the end. Customers at Risk cases allow you to manage potential customer issues before you risk losing them. You can also assign users to a case to receive notifications and updates and escalate to a service ticket or a sales lead if we decide the problem needs to be escalated. And all the details that we work with, all this information that we're working with our module, everything is integrated and tied back to Sedona Office. Everything is documented in their notes, and it's a completely integrated product. In addition, we have a full task management system that allows us to create and manage tasks that need to be completed to ensure that every customer need is being met. When users are assigned tasks, they'll receive notifications alerting them that the task has been created, if it still needs a resolution, and if it's become past due. We now also have a new feature that we're just rolling out to allow us to create follow-up tasks based on how your users interact with these tasks and how they resolve them, to allow us to escalate issues from one department to the other. When we analyze the customer, we're trying to learn a little bit about the customer. We have a great part of our application called our customer landing page. There's quite a bit of information here, but some important things that we show you is all of the automatic activity going on with the customer, as well as having customer service tools, such as accessing documents and manuals fairly quickly, being able to document notes and things like that, and showing out any kind of critical insights, such as critical messages or custom statistics that you may set. For instance, here, the average number of days that it takes the customer to pay our invoices is a great statistic to keep an eye on. We also have a full P&L as well, so we can analyze the customer's profitability for us. So when we're dealing with the customer, we can understand, do we make money here or do we lose it? Okay, and if we're making money, then we really need to be handling things appropriately there. If we're losing money, we need to look at what we did wrong here and what we can try to improve upon. Okay. Also, it shows us our customers' issues, and where we have our customers at risk, that's going to allow us to document issues that come up with customers. And we set a score associated with this. So our customer, if we have, in this case, customers unhappy with the service and they've called in for a copy of their contract and they don't like the equipment, there are several issues going on here that is putting the customer at risk. And we have a value associated with it that lets us know how severe this issue is. When we create that customer at risk issue, it's part of a bigger system that allows us to rank all of our customers so we know what's going on with individual customers, and we can triage those issues accordingly. We look at all of our customers, we can sort them by risk and look at the last time they were touched and see all the individual issues. In order to resolve the issue, we work the case. And the case is just a place for us to document the issue and to analyze the customer and to take action to try to resolve it. And those actions could be anything from creating a service ticket to creating tasks or notifications. And the analyzation can be recurring based. It could be looking at the service ticket history. It could be looking at the customer's event logs and things like that. All that information is brought together in one place so we can analyze the customer better. And we're now releasing as well our case management statistics, which allow us to see how many customers are currently sitting out at risk and get some metrics there. Some great numbers that we've now included is the total amount of RMR in our company that's at risk of being lost based on the open cases, as well as the RMR we've secured over a period of time by resolving or making those customers happy again. And we can break and segment this data down by the types of cases. In addition to the cases, we also have those tasks, and we can manage those individual tasks accordingly. A user can come in and see their own dashboard where they watch the cases that they're working at and see only the tasks that they need. Or a manager can come in and look at all of the tasks in the system and try to investigate if everything is being handled correctly. So those are some examples of the OPT different products and services that address customer experience. On one hand, we have our notifications that produce the front line, if you will, for the customer, what they see, how their brand is interpreted to them. And then on the back end, we have all the tools necessary to provide better customer experience by documenting and tracking and trying to resolve issues and other tasks quickly and efficiently. Now, our services are broken down into tiers. So we start off with a silver tier, which focuses on doing that automatic communications. Okay, this is where we're going to do our email invoicing. We're going to do our statements. We can send our surveys, and we can send notifications like payment failure, appointment reminders, dispatch notifications, etc. Alternatively, we have a tier called our bronze that if you want to focus more on the back end of things, we can do that case management and that task management, customers at risk, the profitability, and components like that. So that'd be our bronze tier. If we go into our second tier, that's going to be gold, and that's going to include both what we have in our silver and bronze, and it's going to focus on bringing additional in-depth analysis. So we're going to be able to track all the customer issues. We're going to be able to send those notifications out, but we're going to be able to analyze the survey data, rank the data, and get into the specific details of how everything was going on. Look at the survey, the customers at risk statistics, and so on and so forth. And then we have our platinum tier. Our platinum tier is everything that you possibly need to transform your business. So it's going to be all of our gold, silver, and bronze, but it's also going to include a tremendous amount of automation. We're going to work very closely with you to develop processes that automate common things, creating tasks, creating cases automatically when issues are identified that we can pick up on. Okay, and it also includes we are now adding in our timeline module to the Platinum package as well. All right. Well, that is what I have today on this. I'd like to open it up at this point to the users if they have any questions.
All right. Thank you, Brad. We have a couple of questions that have come in. Oh yeah, stuff coming in. Let's see, we've got one asking, would you be willing to give the managers a walkthrough of the OPT modules and how to use them?
Absolutely. We provide lots of training, and we also do sales demos of the product as well. And anybody that does need a refresher on it, we've been systematically reaching out to our clients to make sure that they are leveraging the tools they have at their exposure. So we always reach out and we try to make sure that everybody's using the product the best that they can. And if that involves some additional training, we're willing to give it as well.
Okay. Is there a self-service module for adjusting the automated email and survey contents?
Adjusting the automated survey. So today we have, as far as the form stack piece goes, that's where they actually fill out the form. That's a portal that we control there. We can give you guys access to be able to pull the data down. But as far as changing that, we'll provide that access. We'll provide that for you. It makes it a lot easier because you just tell us what you guys need and we'll go and do it, and you don't have to worry about any of the technical fuss. As far as the notification processes go out to the customers, like general notifications and things like that, we do have an interface to make those adjustments. It's a combination of both Sedona Sync, the Sedona Office product that does the back-end notification, the back-end email engine, if you will, as well as a tool we've created on top of it to personalize and customize those experiences. So we can absolutely train you guys if you are looking to do that. But again, most OPT clients prefer that we do it for them, so that way you don't have to spend the time learning it. That's the service and the offering we provide to you, is it's really a turnkey solution.
All right. Our next question, is Sedona Sync required for this system?
So that's a great question. So Sedona Sync is required for the notifications component. So anything that we're sending out to the client directly, that is Sedona Sync, that is the engine under the hood. We provide the code that sits on top of it, the customization and the experience that the customer is getting, but it is running on top of Sedona Sync. As far as the bronze package goes and the customer complaint issue tracking, the customer service tracking, and the back-end components, Sedona Sync is not required for those components. That is a full-fledged web portal that ties to your Sedona users, and they can log directly in. The only requirement we have there is that you give us access to a IIS server or a web server. And if you're doing Sedona Web today, you likely have this already.
All right. Let's see. How long does it take to implement the tools?
Great question. So the products and services, each product has their own implementation. Things like email invoicing and our other products implement very quickly. If we're doing some custom development for you, customizing a particular notification or building an invoice format, it may be a little longer. But typically speaking, we can roll out invoicing and notifications within a week. Web services deploys immediately, and we can have that live, within 48 hours of the purchase. But we do set up several training sessions as well. So we usually schedule those out a couple weeks in between each other to give our users time to process, test, play, and come up with questions.
This question, is the portal intended to be used by most of the staff or just the company administrators?
Oh, sure. So the portal is actually intended to be used by everybody that interacts with the customer. There are different levels of the web services portal. And today we are focusing on customer experience, but there is a whole nother part of our offering that focuses on back-end process management and dashboarding and reporting. So our web portals are permission controlled. The customer landing page can be isolated down to just specific users that need the access, and the components on the page can be restricted. So if you don't want them seeing certain things, we can remove that. But the customer landing page is a great place for every frontline user to have access to. The way we envision it, especially if they're doing issue tracking, is that whenever they have a poor experience with a customer, they should come out to the web services portal and document that. So we do recommend that everybody has that access.
All right. And this is a question about the CRM portion.
Mm-hmm.
They'd like to know, how much work is it to use the CRM, and is that worth it?
Absolutely. So what's really awesome about the CRM is that it's completely integrated within Sedona Office. So you don't need to do any duplicate data entry. You're not going to enter in notes into the CRM and then have to go into Sedona Office and enter it. All of those things will push back and forth. So if I document a customer complaint, that information's in Sedona Office and I can see it readily there as well. The difference is that the OPT portal gives you a really homed-in approach at looking at customer issue tracking. So learning the system is very easy. It's very intuitive. Everything is given to you right then and there. And the configuration and setup is very easy. We just determine the type of code you want and the resolution codes and tasks that you want to use. Very similar to setting up problem codes and resolution codes in Sedona Office.
All right. And then one more question is the survey system, is it interactive, or is it just a very stationary kind of one way?
Sure. So we are highly flexible with the survey system. That's a great question. Our surveys are interactive, of course, because they fill out the question, but we can set up additional questions. Now, I'd like to preface that by saying best practices with the NPS surveys to keep it short and sweet, because the longer you make the survey, the lower your retention rate becomes. Customers drop off after being asked a couple more questions, especially if they only have the expectation to go in there to answer one. But we have done for plenty of clients where we've added additional survey questions to the survey. A great example of this is if the customer scored negatively, we may want to ask them, "We're sorry you feel that way. Would you like to speak to a manager? We want to make it right." Or if they score very highly in a promoter, we're excited you feel that way. Would you go and rate us on Google, or would you write us a testimonial? So those are examples where we can change out the questions based on the customer's responses. In addition, we also have the ability to route the survey emails that go back out to your internal staff based on the different criteria that the customers fill out. So promoters can go to one person, detractors go to another, anybody looking to write a testimonial goes to your website admin team. So it's all very much dynamically routed that way. And of course, we'll brand that as well for your organization. So it'll be your logo, your font, and we'll customize that process to your specifications.
Okay, well, it looks like that's all the questions we have for today, unless anyone wants to type anyone in there real quick. We're going to wrap this one up, but we do want to thank everyone for joining us today. And if we didn't get to your question, or if you think of one later, of course, feel free to reach out to us. And Brad is, I'm sure, happy to take care of that and get an answer to you. But we do appreciate you taking time out of your day to spend it with us. As a reminder, this webinar has been recorded. We will be delivering it to your email within the next day or so. Otherwise, we want to thank you so much for your time today, and we sure appreciate it. We hope you have a great afternoon.